Inuarata no Sahai is my amiable name, and I'm so happy, excited to come your way this morning, the very first official Wednesday of 2025. The first Wednesday of 2025 was the New Year Day, and this is the 8th of January, and I'm so delighted to come your way and make this year a very exciting one for you when it comes to the issue of driving performance in the workplace, driving productivity in your business, and also taking your vision to the next level. Now, the topic of our conversation this morning is 4 things to do to keep your best employees in 2025. 4 things to do to keep your best employees in 2025. Now, there are so many things you can do, but this morning we'll just focus on 4 of the very 4 premium things you need to do to help you keep your best employees in 2025. Now, as a business owner, as a business leader, it is very clear that you want to achieve success in the year 2025. But that you cannot do alone without your staff being on the same page with you, especially your best staff, especially your good hands. You need everyone to be on the same page with you. Now, losing your best hands, losing your best staff or best employees is not in your best interest, because to replace them is going to involve you spending a lot of money, a lot of time to go through the rigors of a recruiting exercise. And then when the person is even finally employed, you are going to give the person time latitude to get to understand your modus operandi, the way you do your operations in your business organization, before the person will start adding value. And that is why in this new year 2025, you need to see that you are doing things that will want your people to want to stay with you. They want to stick to you and give their best to making sure that you are able to achieve success and maintain that competitive edge and competitive advantage in this new year 2025. Now, the first thing you need to do to keep your best employees in 2025 is for you to relate with your staff not as human resources, but as human beings. Relate with your staff not as human resources, but as human beings. Now, when you relate with your people, your staff, as human resources, you will be relating with them with no touch of empathy. You will be relating with them as just instruments and tools for achieving business goals and organizational goals. There will be no touch of empathy. But when you relate with them as human beings, you are going to be relating with them as not instruments and tools for achieving business or organizational goals. You are going to be relating with them as people. You will be relating with them as people with feelings. You'll be relating with them as people with emotions. You'll be relating with them as people with families, people with spouses, people with personal challenges, and people with aspirations. Now, relating from this perspective means that you are relating with them with a good sense of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the smartness or the intelligence of being able to manage your own emotions and equally manage the emotions of other people. So, dear CEO, dear manager, ensure that in this year 2025, you have a human-centric approach in relating with your people. Don't just relate with your people as human resources, as tools and instruments for achieving business goals. Relate with them as human beings. Relate with them as human beings with emotions. Relate with them as human beings with fears. Relate with them as human beings with concerns. Relate with them as human beings with families and challenges. This is very, very important. When you do this, you will be endearing the heart of your people, to bringing their A game to the table to make sure that they help you to achieve, a very successful 2025. Now, the second thing you need to do in this new year 2025 to keep or retain your best employee is for you to position them in roles where their nature and their nurture can be best utilized and maximized. Position them in roles where their nature and their nurture can be best utilized and maximized. Now, their nature is their area of natural traits, their natural giftings. There are some people, they are naturally creative. There are some people, they are natural leaders. Some people are naturally empathetic. Then their nurture, the area are areas where they have been trained in. There are areas of expertise. There are areas of education. You know, there are areas of skills where, you know, they have learned some skills and learned some vocations or learned some, you know, specialized trainings and all that. So when you position people in their in roles that, you know, their nature and their nurture can easily come into play, it makes them to easily bring their A game to the table. It makes them to easily bring their best to the table, and that is for the advantage of the organization. It makes it convenient for them to work with you, and that convenience they have in working with you will make them to want to stick to you, will make them to want to stay with you. This is very important. Position them in roles where their nature and their nurture can be better utilized and maximized. Then the third way you can keep your best employees in this new year 2025 is for you to reinforce uncommon performance with uncommon rewards. Reinforce uncommon performance with uncommon rewards. Now, when your employees, when your staff gets to know that you have this culture, this practice of, you know, giving them extra rewards for productivity and performance level that is beyond expectation, you are going to see them, you know, well endeared to you. Their hearts is going to be endeared to you. They're going to be attached to you. So when employees bring performance to the table that is beyond expectation, you know the regular expectations you have of your employee every now and then, but if somebody or some of them bring that performance expectation that is beyond expectation, performance level that is beyond expectation to the table, it is very, very important you learn to reinforce such performance level by giving them extra reward. Reinforce uncommon performance with uncommon reward. It is very, very important. The fourth one, which is the concluding one this morning, remember the topic is 4 things to do to keep your best employees in 2025. The first one I said, relate with your staff as not human resources, but as human beings. The second one, I said, position them in roles where their nature and their nurture can be better utilized and maximized. The third one, I said, reinforce uncommon performance with uncommon reward. Then the fourth one this morning, the last one, is avoid biased favoritism when resolving conflict amongst your staff. Avoid biased favoritism when resolving conflict amongst your staff. Now, if there is a conflict, there is a dispute between two staff or amongst some of your staff, be very deliberate and intentional that when you are resolving that dispute, you are not resolving it in favor of the offender. Be very intentional about it in this new year 2025, because we have seen situations whereby, you know, many good hands of organizations, of some businesses have tendered their resignation letter because there have been a recurring decimal of the CEO or the leader, you know, that they report to, you know, resolving disputes, you know, in favor of the offender and against the offended. Now, this is very wrong. And in this new year 2025, if you have found yourself in this web prior to this time, you need to make sure you push the delete button, reverse such disposition or such attitude. Avoid biased favoritism when resolving conflicts among your staff. Now, no matter your affinity, no matter your attachment with the offender, be very intentional, be very deliberate in making sure that as you are resolving that quarrel, as you are resolving that issue, it is not against the offended. It is not in favor of the offender. This is very, very important. And when you do all this in this new year 2025, I see, you know, your staff, your best hands, you know, wanting to work with you because they know that you play a fair game. This is very, very important. The topic has been 4 things to do to keep your best employees in 2025. And the first one, as a way of review, is relate with your staff as not human resources, but as human beings. And then position them in roles where their nature and their nurture can be better utilized and maximized. The third one, reinforce uncommon performance with uncommon reward. Then the fourth one, avoid biased favoritism when resolving conflicts amongst your staff. This is very important. I strongly believe that profound value, lots of premium value have been added to you today, and you can connect with me through my online handles at Nosal Speaks on Thread, at Nosal Speaks on X, former Twitter, at Nosal Speaks on LinkedIn, at Nosal Speaks on Instagram, at Nosal Speaks 1 or Inuagata Nosahai on Facebook. Send your questions across, and then let's take the conversation to the next level. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday. And when I return, I will still be the amiable Inuagata Nosahai. God bless you.